My family is dead and the police think I did it. My family is gone. They were taken from me right before my eyes, ripped away like skin off my back. They're dead. My wife and daughter are dead, and the police think it's my fault. Like I would ever do something so horrible. I loved them. With all of my heart, I loved my family. How dare those idiots at the police station accuse me of such a horrible... I thought I heard a noise just now, as I'm typing this out. Like someone was just outside my shitty little motel room looking for me. He's still out there. The man that killed my family. The man that framed me. I think he's saving me for last. He's close. I can feel it. He took everything from me, but no one will believe me. You'll believe me, won't you? I'll tell you what happened. I just need someone to believe me. Before it happened, we weren't doing great. You know those usual familial fights? How the house can feel tense when disagreements happen? Well, the latest one was about a school field trip. She wanted $60 to go to some museum or something, but money was tight. I'd been killing myself on overtime for over a year now just to keep us afloat, but we were drowning anyways. Bills, groceries, clothes, insurance, car payments, the mortgage. God, it was just all too much. Well, anyways, I told her we can't afford to send her, but my wife insisted we could spare $60, so I had to be the bad guy. I told her we couldn't, and that was final. After that, I was getting the cold shoulder from both of them. So, when I came home that evening after another 12-hour shift, I wasn't surprised to receive another sad excuse for a welcome home. My daughter sat in the living room, doing homework on our coffee table. She had folders and papers strewn about. Her backpack sat open on my chair. She didn't acknowledge me when I walked in. My wife noticed me, at least. From past our living room in the kitchen, she gave me a lukewarm, "Hello, how was work?" I walked past my daughter and kissed my wife in the kitchen. I felt disappointed. She kissed me dispassionately, like she didn't even want to kiss me in the first place. "Long," I replied, taking off my steel toes. "How's dinner coming?" "It's going all right. I'm working with what I have. Did you go to the store on your way home?" That was her first little jab of the night. Lately, she loved to needle me. She would tell me about her discontentment in passing. Discontentment about not having all the food she wants, or about how small the new house was, or about how we haven't had a date in over a year. I knew it. I knew she felt neglected and discontent. Just another thing going wrong that I wasn't fixing fast enough for her. "No, dear. I was too tired to go to the grocery." "Well then, it's soup again tonight. I don't have ingredients to make much else." There was so much more behind those words, more than I could put on a page. She knew I hated the soup we got from the food pantry. She knew I hated to go to the food pantry at all. She was saying that I failed. I failed to provide my family with dinner, and now we have to rely on strangers for help. And because I failed to provide, I should be punished with food I hated. "I'm sorry, I was at work all day." "Well, I don't have a car to take to the grocery. You have the only car, so you have to be the one to go to the store. I don't want to make soup again, honey." That honey stung. It was a sweet shot filled with poison. Another jab. Anger swelled in me. I already knew that I was the one that had to go to the store, that I had our only car, that I fucked it up. But she just had to twist that knife a little deeper. Even after all that I provide for them, she still had the nerve to be ungrateful, to tell me I'm not doing enough. I was about to tell her off. Tell her that she needs to have some patience and that I'm her husband and I deserve respect. But my thoughts were interrupted by a loud banging sound outside. My wife and daughter stopped and stared at the back door with wide, fearful eyes. They were deer in headlights, waiting for a car to crash through our house. When nothing came, they slowly went back to how they were. She continued to stir her soup. My daughter went back to her homework, and I just sat at the dining room table. I took a breath and tried to calm down. I was too exhausted to have another fight. Wordlessly, I went to go sit in the living room. My daughter still didn't greet me. She wouldn't acknowledge me at all. But was there. I could tell. She was tense, nervous. She acted like a bomb just sat right beside her. "Hey, kiddo." "Hi, Dad," she said quietly, as if anything louder might make me explode. "What you working on?" I asked with as much enthusiasm I could muster, hoping she would match it. "Schoolwork," she replied, dryly. She was a whole other issue. She had gone quiet a while back, disconnected herself. Gone were the days of Daddy's little girl. Now she was a stranger who was afraid of me. I guess that's what happens when you're the bad guy too many times. "Can you give me more than a couple words, sweetheart? I missed you at work today, and I'd love to talk to you." She was frozen, afraid to look up, afraid to look at me. "Kiddo, I'm your dad. I just want to talk to you. I want to hear about school, or your hobbies, or your friends. Just anything. Please?" She was fighting back tears. "May I go to my room?" She squeaked out in a near whisper. "Why?" I asked, dropping my enthusiasm. "Why can't you just talk to your old man? I'm your dad." "She's had a long day and has a lot of homework. Just let her go to her room," my wife interrupted. "Oh, so you get to know about her day. But I don't. I'm not asking for much. I just want to talk to my daughter. Why won't you talk to me?" Another noise shook the house, much louder than the first. My daughter began to cry. My wife let out a yelp. I started to swear to myself as I went outside to figure out what all the noise was about. When I came outside, I found a man standing by our trash bins. Garbage covered the driveway, apparently thrown around by the man. He was dressed like a factory worker. He wore a Carhartt shirt, jeans, and steel toe boots. The outfit looked like it could have been one of mine. He stood facing away from me. His hands were bloodied and swollen, like he just got through punching something. "It's not right, you know," he said to me, still facing away. "Who the hell are you? Get the hell off my property." He ignored me. "It's not right, the way they treat you." "What the hell are you talking about? You're a hard-working man. You're an honest man. You work your ass off to give them a place to sleep. You buy them food to eat, and they don't even care. They aren't even grateful. So what the hell are you even doing this for?" "Because I love them," I answered. "But do they love you? Do they even like you? Do they even know you anymore? They don't treat you like a husband or a father. They use you. They take everything you give them without a second thought and then stick their hands out and ask for more. And what do you get in return? Passive aggression and one-word answers. You give away all of your love and you get none in return. That's not true. Fuck you, man. You don't know what you're talking about. They love me. We're just in a rough spot right now, that's all," I told him. My heart was beating out of my chest, threatening to burst with anger at the nerve of the stranger. But somewhere, deep down, I felt he was right. I did feel used, unappreciated, empty. You're lying to yourself. You're letting yourself be deceived by them. She doesn't love you anymore. She thinks you're weak, worthless. She asks for too much. How much are you expected to give her? You've given all you have and it isn't enough. You're not enough for her. Hers is a special kind of cruelty. Does it make your blood boil that that parasite leeches off of you without a care for her host? And your daughter, how endlessly frustrating. How much effort does it take? How much can you try when she won't even look at you? She's scared of you, and for what? Trying to be a loving father, trying to talk to his daughter. How many times do you have to roll that boulder up the hill before you realize that she doesn't love you either? They hate you. They're killing you. They pile the world onto your shoulders and hate that you fall under the weight. They deserve to know how much you hurt. He turned to me and I saw his face. He looked like a tired man, stretched too thin. Dark circles hung under his eyes. His hair was oily and unwashed. His mouth was dry with cracked lips. Every feature on his face was twisted in disgust, hatred, rage. His breathing was heavy. His hands shook with adrenaline. His eyes locked onto mine, and I realized two things. He looked exactly like me, and he was holding one of our kitchen knives. I became stuck, completely unable to move. My doppelganger seemed to know this. He paid me no mind as he walked past me. I tried to run. I tried to move at all, but nothing happened. I was a passenger in my own body, with no control. He turned me, so I was facing my house. I was forced to stand there and watch it all unfold through the windows. I saw him stomp up to my door and let himself inside, slamming the door back shut. I heard the man rampage through my house. He slammed the soup off the stove, letting the giant pot clatter loudly into the wall. My wife screamed my name. I struggled for control again, but I had none. I heard my own voice scream out in anger before my wife was stabbed. The sound of steel on bone pierced my ears. I saw her eyes. She gurgled in pain as her lungs filled with blood. I heard her ribs snap. All the while, a voice like mine screamed incomprehensibly in a rage about love and patience and kindness. I heard my daughter crying. I knew she was as frozen as I was, powerless to stop what came next. "Why won't you just talk to me?" My voice came from inside my house, muffled through the walls. She suffered the same fate as her mother. I was still frozen as the back door opened. He walked leisurely over to me. Blood spattered his shirt. It wicketed wildly, rolling off the hydrophobic fabric and dripped onto the pavement. His arms were buried in raised scratch marks, defensive wounds from my wife fighting back. His steel toe boots were drenched in gore. It's just too much. I can't remember anymore. With a sardonic smile, he got up close. I was powerless to stop him as he scratched my arms and rubbed my family's blood onto my hands. He put his clothes on me and mine on him. They were soaking wet, and I began to shiver. He put the knife in my paralyzed hand before stepping back and admiring his handiwork. Satisfied, he flashed me a quick red smile, and then he was gone. When I regained control, I got in my car and ran away. He took them from me, and I can't do anything about it. If the police find me, it's over. I'm done. They think I did that to them. I didn't. I couldn't. Everyone has bad thoughts sometimes, but that's not evidence. That's not real. I'm not capable of that. But those fucking idiots won't listen to me. It's not fair. I don't deserve this. I'm a good husband. I'm a good father. If I could just... Someone is banging loudly on my door.